Hello, Lazio of the world. Welcome to another episode of Lazio Lounge. What can we say about last night? Another incredible performance from Lazio. And I have three things of mind that I don't want to see anymore. Reina, goalkeeper, Patrick, central defender, and Alazer not singing the Lazio anthem. Hello, Alex. What was for you yesterday?
Um, oh God, I don't know. We were here 3 days ago, talking about how we just witnessed one of the worst Lazio performances we'd seen in years, and against Napoli, and then we're back a few days later, and I don't know. Maybe can't quite say the same thing because the second half, obviously, Lazio improved a lot, but wow, there were parts of that game last night, especially in the first half, where it was a bit embarrassing, really, to be honest. And it was probably the craziest game I've ever seen at a stadium, though. 8 goals, a huge comeback, 3 red cards. It's a shame that the two of us were probably about 50% of the crowd last night and nobody else could be bothered to go.
Yeah, that's another thing that we have to talk about. I don't know the official numbers, but they were very low. Um, they have been asked why so few attendance. Well, Thursday night, that doesn't help. 9 p.m. kickoff, 8:45 p.m. kickoff. It's not good. Was heavily has been raining all day long, and 20 euros the curva. It's not cheap, especially considering that they are not season tickets this year. So Lazio fans are spending a lot of money compared to Roma fans that have season tickets. There was like an offer for Black Friday, like €7 the next couple of matches for Roma. So it looks, Alistair, that Lazio doesn't want fan at the stadium. They're trying to do everything to keep the stadium empty.
Yeah, and there was a lot of chants against Lotito last night,
Yeah,
presumably with that in mind. Well, I'm sure for many reasons, but that being one of them. Yeah, and it's a really bad look, isn't it? And I understand everyone's got their own reasons for not going to games, and the weather yesterday was terrible during the day, and it's a Thursday night, and it's Udinese, who are pre-match would have thought is about the dullest game possible. But still, it's it's unacceptable to have a home Serie A match and be getting a crowd of, I think it was under 7,000.
yeah, I think around 6,000, right? That should be the
Yeah,
number.
which
Alistair, where do we start? Shall we start from a goalkeeper who's not able to stop any shot on target? I mean, in the last two matches, Lazio had 9 shot on target and 8 were goals. So I know they weren't all easy goals, but come on, if you're fighting for the Europe League or a Champions League position, your goalkeeper should sometimes make some good save, which is not happening.
yeah, exactly, yeah, and maybe we said after Napoli that you can't individually blame Reina for many of those goals, but like you say, I think when you reach a certain level, you want your keeper to start saving something out of the ordinary rather than just making the routine saves. And if you get it far enough to either side, you can just expect it to fly in. He could have moved quicker to get the first one, for example. It was a great header, but a more agile, quick keeper probably would have got there. Yeah, and I've seen a few. People are getting really fed up with this now. I saw a petition was launched last night to try and get Strakosha back in the team. But I've also seen some people posting some statistics about this. And sadly, I've not been prepared enough to bring them with me. But in terms of the actual save per shot ratio of goalkeepers, you know how you get XG in terms of the quality of chances and how many goals a player or a team should be scoring. Well, it's the kind of equivalent for goalkeepers, and Reina's is extraordinarily poor, very low, and Strakosha's in comparison is a lot better, as you'd expect. So I mean, that's the strength. I think you can only use the argument of, well, okay, maybe he's going to not save as many shots, but he won't get you in as much trouble with his feet. I think you can only use that argument for so long before you start to think, well, where do we make more points? Do we make more points by having a goalkeeper who might actually keep out a few more goals, or by having one who plays decent passes out to the midfield?
Yeah, and especially the first goal, the ball was coming my direction, and it looks like it was slow motion, and the ball was slowly going towards the net, and my goalkeeper was still standing there without doing nothing. It was a nice header, but it was so slow that I cannot accept that a Serie A goalkeeper didn't stop it. So the most concerning part, Alistair, is that I would take this draw that for me looks like a defeat, but I would accept it if from Sunday I would have Strakosha back on goal. Instead, my biggest concern is that I feel that even after this performance, we will see Reina start against Sampdoria Sunday. And I mean, this drives me really crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can probably move on to the next one as well, which is the choice of Patrick as being the consistent third choice option as our centre back now. And we saw the rare sighting of Stefan Radu last night, but only because he was forced to come on basically after Patrick's red card. And I don't know, Patrick against Napoli, we weren't too impressed. And then, to be honest, last night was a bit of a disaster for him. Two of the goals, at least, at fault. And then the 2 yellow cards. Second one, pretty soft, but he shouldn't be doing that on a yellow card. Pretty simple. And the timing of it, the fact that Lazio had just equalised.
I mean, I like your British style when you talk about Patrick. I thought he was awful, full stop. And, the fact that Sarri yesterday in the press, 2 days ago now, in the press conference said, well, without Luis Felipe, I just have Patrick. I mean, Vavro is right-footed. Is he in the team or not? Why you consider Patrick only right-footed? The other thing is, it's a little bit like the Reina situation, right? Okay, it's better to have two left-footed central defender that really defend than one left-footed and one right-footed with one that doesn't defend. I mean, obviously, that must be the best choice, right? Radu came in, Alistair, and as you were pointing out, he hardly played. I thought even when we were one man down, our defense looked stronger with Radu in the pitch than when we were 11 with Patrick. So, I mean, again, from now on, I hope to see Radu start rather than Patrick. I mean, yeah, you said the second yellow card was soft. I thought it was stupid. It was silly. We just recover 3-1 down. Let him go. Where can he go? I mean, can he score from there? I don't think so. So he makes stupid decision all the single time. It's not the first one. You cannot say, wow, I couldn't expect that. No, he does it every single time. It's not a surprise anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just we have to accept by this point that he's not cut out at this level to be a starting centre back. I mean, it was a surprise to all of us that he kind of remained under Sarri to be a centre back in this back four. And, with Dennis Vavro being completely overlooked somewhere, with Stefan Radu being completely overlooked, more natural centre-back options exist than Patrick. And yet he keeps getting the game time, keeps getting the faith. So he's clearly, I don't know what it is. It might be his character, his work ethic, whatever. But he's been popular with Inzaghi and now with Sarri. So he clearly has something about him that impresses coaches, because sometimes it's hard to see as a fan. But, he'll obviously be suspended now after that. And I do just hope that they have a bit of a rethink. Because the other thing about Radu is that we've spoken over the last well, over the last week after the Napoli game, particularly about the mentality of the team and the lack of leadership sometimes. Well, Radu is a player who can offer a bit of that. I know that the mentality issues have obviously existed throughout the time Radu's been at the club as well, so he's not necessarily the answer to that problem, but he is someone who can offer a degree of kind of calmness and experience to the rest of the players on the pitch. And you're right, I think we did see a bit of that last night, because Lazio, when they were down to 10 men, didn't really suffer an awful lot before. I know it didn't take Udinese long to very generously even things up again, but they did okay with 10 men up until that point.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I mean, seeing this Patrick, really, do we really don't have anything better? I mean, even Vavro for me can be that bad, even because it's not only making mistakes, they're silly mistakes. On the first goal, Patrick is watching his men. I mean, he's in the penalty box. What do you want to do more? I mean, this is, I don't know. And again, I don't think that, well, luckily enough, he cannot play Sunday or we lose 3-0 because he's suspended. But I think that next time we're going to need a central defender, he's going to start, and this is going to drive me crazy. So, I don't know. AC Milan, I know you need a central defender. Patrick is available. Come and grab it. It's all yours if you want. If you need to bring it to Milan, I can take it on the car and bring it up to San Siro whenever you need it, because, yeah, I don't want to see him anymore.
This is that's a good point. This has just appeared on our screen here.
Yeah, but who was playing close to Radu?
Well, yeah.
You know, it's difficult when your central defender is a disaster. It's easy that he can drag you down with him, right?
I think the problem is as well that we're talking. We've just talked about Reina, and now we're talking
Even
about
this
Patrick.
one is a valid point. Huh?
There's no difference with 10 men because Patrick was sent off. Yeah, but I mean, I guess the issue is just the same old problem. It's the depth of quality. It doesn't really exist. I mean, the problem is the entire defense as a unit is full of holes, really. And I would even include the fullbacks in that. Lazio is a good player, but not necessarily always the best defensively. Husai's been a bit hit or miss so far. Acerbi's obviously by far the strongest player we've got, but even we've seen him decline a little bit over the last year or so. I mean, the defense it needs more help from the midfield. Again, I was going on about this after the Napoli game, but last night, it's just these transitions. I came over and had a moan to you at halftime last night about that, but it's the only thing that you prepare for with Udinese. They don't attack you. They're not going to press you high up the pitch. Surely defensively, the only thing that you're really preparing for is transitions and counterattacks. And yet Lazio 2 times in a row lose the ball, end up in a kind of 2-on-2 situation or worse, and concede. And come on, you've got to be better prepared for that. The players, the rest of the team have got to be working harder to help you with that. I mean, Sarri mentioned that after the match, the fact that the midfield have responsibilities in this as well. It's not just the defense.
No.
Oh, my God. I mean, Udinese don't score 4 goals in a match. They don't. Last night was 20% of their goals for the entire Serie A season was scored against Lazio last night. It's absurd.
And Alistair, the problem is we saw it against Napoli. We saw it again yesterday. Milinkovic Savic and Luis Alberto are not tracking back, are not running to try to recover. I think it's the second goal. There are 2 Lazio defender and Felipe Anderson. There's no sight of Milinkovic Savic or Luis Alberto. They are not close to their opponent. I mean, you are not a striker. You're a midfielder. You should do both phases, attacking and defending. I don't know. Luis Alberto, what do you make of the performance of Luis Alberto? Because when he was subbed, I thought Lazio start playing a little bit better. I didn't like Milinkovic Savic celebrating the goal like, hey, I'm God, here we are. Because where was he when Udinese was attacking? He was never close to his opponent. So remember, Sergej, you are midfielder. Yes, I appreciate your goal. It was a terrific goal, but you forgot that that was just 50% of your job, right? Or I'm too hard.
No, you're not. I mean, yeah, we've gone over this. We don't have the luxury of being able to just rely on a back four to stick together. I mean, it wasn't even the back four. I mean, two of the goals, it was just Lazio and Patrick defending. I don't know where Acerbi and Husai were. A lot happened to them, but we ended up with Patrick and Lazio kind of 2-on-2 for two of those goals. No help from the midfield. Nobody really in sight. And you're right. I don't know. It just feels like there's a lack of balance there. Still being worked out, but Sarri's clearly determined to make it work because he's not changing it. No. I did wonder if he might after Napoli, if there was, because it's a midweek game especially, if Basic had a good chance of coming in and starting. I mean, you're right. Look, Sergej scored a goal last night that nobody else in that team can score. I mean, on his weaker foot, it was an incredible finish. But you're right. It did feel a bit like where that was the 3-2 goal, was it, or was it the 3-3 goal?
The 3-3 goal.
3-3 goal.
The equalizer.
Okay. So, you know, it's obviously, yes, it's fantastic, and it's completed the comeback to a certain extent of drawing level, but we're at home to Udinese, you know, we're not stopping here.
It's not Real Madrid that you say, hey, look what I've done, right? And the other thing, Alistair, again, Cataldi out, Basic in. I thought the midfield improved a lot. I was surprised to not see Basic starting yesterday. I thought, you know, after how we played against Napoli, I thought that could be the right decision. Again, I think this is the second time that Basic came in place of Cataldi and played in, how can we say, weird position, because he wasn't playing in front of the defense, but he was in a central midfield position. And I thought he played well. He's physical, he's fast, he's got skill, he's a complete midfielder. I think it's time to play him a little bit more, especially seeing how Luis Alberto and Milinkovic Savic are playing. I don't know if this means that one of the two will be sold this January, but I think the biggest issue we have now is finding some right position in the midfield, because it's there where we're struggling. We are conceding far too often counter-attacks. And I mean, for Lazio, this is dangerous, very dangerous.
Yes. But you can really, when it comes to January and reinforcing the team, you can really make an argument for almost any position, literally any position in the team. And
yeah, you know, after yesterday, I mean, you should change.
You can, though. I mean, think about it. We don't have a valid alternative to Immobile up front. We only have 3 wingers for 2 positions who are kind of trusted to start, and one of them's been injured all the time. The midfield, like you say, is lacking quite a lot, and the entire defense and goalkeeper are a problem. I mean, I am a little bit concerned where you know, most of the reports I've been reading recently, and we are kind of about how Lazio's January plan is to try and get another fullback. And yes, I would like another fullback, but I'm not sure that's the priority necessarily. A centre back, and then the problem on top of this is that Luis Felipe is about to enter the final 6 months of his contract. Still no new deal, so he's going to be free to actually talk to other clubs. Plenty of clubs will be interested in him, and what you end up with in that position is either someone who's already agreed to join another club and they've lost interest, or someone who knows that they're heading out in 6 months, so they lose interest anyway. So that's another problem.
Alistair, what do you make about what Sarri said after the match? He said, we need help this winter market. should get someone, even if it's a youngster. But this team needs help. And he talked, the big plan is in the next 3 windows, transfer market windows, to improve this team. First time that Sarri mentioned that this team needs help. First time that he mentioned in January, we need help. Um, Thinking about how Lazio did in winter transfer market, I'm a little bit concerned. But if you want to change something, you have to do it this January. Do you believe something is going to happen, or this is going to be, as often happens, okay, we have to sell players like Murici, Bravo, etc., and after that we're going to sign some players, because as we said, we need a central back. Patrick cannot be the first option. Maybe we need something even in midfield. Maybe we need Avisha Immobile. I mean, we have plenty of needs right now, right?
Yeah, we do, and I think it was always going to take a few transfer windows for Sarri to get something resembling a squad that can do what he wants them to do. Which is why, to be brutally honest, I think second season minimum is where we can really expect to see much out of this team. At the moment, he's trying to kind of get them to play a version of his style of football, but he can't really get them to do it properly because he doesn't have the players. So yeah, it comes down to investment again. Does Lotito actually feel like he wants to be spending that money? Or is his idea, we'll give Sarri a new contract and then he'll be happy and we can forget about, the Mercato for postpone that for another few months? I don't know. It's crazy. And this is also, I mean, going on to a slightly different subject. But it's also, again, it shows the kind of failings of the youth system is when you don't have the quality of depth in your squad and you don't have the willingness to be spending money, what you really want to be able to lean on at that point is bringing through your most exciting youth prospects. And they don't really seem to exist. Unless Furlaneto can be promoted as our goalkeeper, because he's been doing quite well. But there aren't exactly a huge amount of players in the Primavera team who are knocking on the door to be in the first team.
This year I think it's a little bit different. Finally, the players that Bianchessi picked are finally in the Primavera. And I saw Lazio playing against Juventus 2 days ago, and we lost. But I thought we played at the same level of Juventus. Funny enough, we don't have a number 9, but Castigliani, that's a winger. It's very interesting. Floriani, Mussolini, there is a right back. He's very promising. Forlaneta, as you mentioned, the goalkeeper is quite good. We have this Koulibaly that didn't play 2 days ago. Now I don't know if he's injured. That is very interesting. So I think there are these youngsters rising up finally. But would you risk them? I mean, we hardly saw Lazio doing this in the past, so I'm not sure that's the right solution. Talking about performance, how did you rate Felipe Anderson yesterday, for example? Because the first goal, we finally saw Felipe Anderson at his best. But after that, what did he do? I mean, how do you rate Felipe yesterday?
Very frustrating. I was getting really frustrated with him at the start. It was interesting the regularity with which Sarri was getting him and Pedro to switch wings at the start. I mean, I don't know what the idea was there, but Anderson started on the right, quite quickly moved to the left, and then soon enough moved back to the right again. I don't know if that's just an idea to try and disorientate the Udinese defense, or if he saw some mismatches there or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you're right. For the goal, it did come down to him doing what we want him to do and kind of taking on a defender, and that's great. But yeah, quite frustrating a lot of the time as well. I mean, who wasn't though?
Well, the thing that I don't understand is you did it once. Why didn't you do it anymore? I mean, it's the same player you had in front of you, and you dribble past him just once. This is a thing that, and it's not that he tried it again and didn't work. He simply didn't do it anymore. So That's the thing I don't understand. And talking about who played well yesterday, well, I have two names, Ciro Immobile and Pedro. It's not coincidence that they both score. I thought they both played very well. I would love to have 11 Ciro Immobile on the pitch because he was probably the only player who never stopped, who never gave up. He tried till the end. And I want to see the same thing from the other players, in particular, Luis Alberto and Milinkovic-Savic. Pedro didn't shine, didn't have an astonishing performance. He scored. He was always there. And yeah, I think at the moment, this is what we need. Instead of seeing unbelievable goal from Milinkovic-Savic, we need to see him consistently playing for 95, 97 yesterday minutes. And again, we saw Zaccagni against Napoli. I thought he was playing well. Why he didn't start yesterday? Why we saw again Felipe Anderson starting? Alistair, what's your take on that?
I don't know. I mean, he's a favorite of Sarri's. He's said from the start, this guy has more talent than almost anyone I've ever coached. And Anderson started really well, started the season brilliantly. So clearly he thinks he's going to get back to that stage and reach those levels again. But against, I don't know, it's easy to say in retrospect, obviously, but against a packed defense like Udinese, where you're basically going to be up against 9 or 10 players all match, those tight spaces, I don't know if you're really going to get as many opportunities to take on players one-on-one and kind of get space down the wings and so on. But yeah, I think Zaccagni does definitely deserve more time. Basic deserves more time. Strakosha deserves a run at this point. Radu deserves more time. I don't think, to be clear, I don't think doing any of that is going to revitalize this Lazio team. I think that the problem goes deeper than just the selections that Sarri is making. I would say that now Lazio being in 9th place, being 9 points off the top 4 is a very reasonable reflection of the season we've had. I don't think that's unfair. No. And it's a shame because it does feel like a bit of a missed opportunity because Serie A's, there are a lot of weak teams in that kind of Europa League race, at least. I think the top 4 have pulled away. But when you look at Roma, when you look at Juve, they're having bad seasons, and Lazio, should be taking advantage of that, but instead they're managing to have a worse one. 29 goals conceded in 15 games. I mean, it's very nearly 2 a game. There's now, I was going through it the other day, but there's now only 2 teams left in Serie A who have conceded more than Lazio.
Well, Alistair, the problem is if your goalkeeper is not stopping anything, every goal on target is a goal. So, there are going to be hundreds of goals at the end of the season if we continue like that. Do you think Sarri is going to try a revolution next Sunday? Because you mentioned Strakosha, you mentioned Reina, you mentioned Basic, you mentioned Zaccagni. I think it's time to give them an option, give them a chance to start. We should be having Marusic back again. He could be starting. And I think it's time. I think even to show Luis Alberto, Milinkovic-Savic, Felipe Anderson, hey guys, or you start playing well again, or, there's the bench. I have other options. I'm going to try it because it's not working. I think really time. And even Leiva could be another option. Cataldi has been struggling. I know it's not easy to defend when your other teammates like Milinkovic-Savic and Luis Alberto have give up on defending and you're 1 against 5 every time. But maybe with Leiva, he's a more leader. He can manage better the midfield and force Milinkovic-Savic and Luis Alberto to do what they need to do, because otherwise, this is going to be a nightmare. And the other thing, Alistair, you mentioned the top 4 teams are 9 points ahead now. The incredible thing is we played against Atalanta. We played better than Atalanta, and we deserve to win even though we draw. We played against Juventus. We lost, but again, we played probably better than Juventus. We played against Inter. We won. Only Napoli and Milan, we played terribly, and they were away team. So this is the thing that drives me crazy. It's not that Lazio is worse than this team. It's simply we are dropping points against a small team with no reason.
Well, I mean, there are reasons. It's the same old mentality problem. It's the same old quality of squad problems. I mean, it's the same stuff we've really talked about for years with Inzaghi, and now it's the case of those same problems being transferred and adding another one of trying to transition to a new style of football, which is proving a bit problematic. I mean, I think when it comes to the team selection thing, Sarri's idea towards the start was kind of like you keep playing the same team because they're going to get more used to what he's asking from them and the style he's asking from them the more they play together.
Doesn't look like.
Maurizio, mate, I'm not sure they're quite getting it. So, yeah, at this stage, I mean, look, it's simple, really. When it comes to the fact that you've conceded 8 goals in 2 games, you've got to change something. You can't allow that to go kind of unpunished, unnoticed. You've got to change something.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And again, Udinese scoring 4 goals. 4 goals in one single match. And again, it's none of this goal you could say, wow, what a finish. I mean, that's simply amazing. No, the first one, Reina is sleeping. On the second one, we are 2 against 5. There's always on the fourth one, he's outside the box all alone. He doesn't even shoot strong for me. It was a weak kick. And Reina again watches the ball goes in the box. I don't know what else can we do. I mean, I cannot play, but I probably would have done better in that occasion. I mean, there's not a single goal that you can say, wait, what can we do here? This was terrific. No, I don't see this. So really, I was astonished, Alistair, when Sarri has been asked before the match, are you going to change something in goal? Is Sarkozy going to start? And he said, no, Reina is this. I don't have any reason why to change things. Well, if he doesn't have a reason now, then I don't know. when will he have one to sub the goalkeeper?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, look, Strakosha is as well in a position where he's out of contract at the end of the season, so I don't know if that's weighing on their minds a bit as well. But then surely at the same time, if you're wanting to actually sell him in January, then give him some games to try and remind everyone of his value. Seems like a win-win. I mean, the fourth goal, I just want to bring up for a second because how is he allowed to have that time and space? It's the last kick of the game. You've just got to defend one final set piece, and they've left a man free at the edge of the box with no pressure on him. It beggars belief, honestly.
But again, goalkeeper is the one calling the players. Cannot believe that Reina didn't see him, right? So I don't know. It's
maybe they thought, he's going to have to hit a worldie from that position to score. So let's just leave him and challenge him to do that. And
well, with Reina, he just have to put it in the box,
on target.
On target. So it's not that difficult, unfortunately. Alistair, let's wrap it up here because otherwise I'm getting nervous and I have plenty of things to do. Don't want to ruin even this day. I don't know about yourself. I couldn't sleep yesterday. I came back home and rewatched the match in my mind, thinking about all the things that went wrong, and simply I couldn't fall asleep. And I don't want to ruin even my day. There's another match Sunday, and again, it's very important. We have to get points against Sampdoria. Hope for a revolution, but I don't see it happen. But this is really the last chance for Lazio. If we don't win against Sampdoria, I think the Champions League is probably already over, but at least keep fighting for the Europa League. We have to try it. And yeah, we need to see a reaction against Sampdoria, even if it's a away match, even if Sampdoria can be a dangerous team. I mean, I can see Candreva scoring from his midfield if Reina starts. So, it's going to be complicated match, but we need to see some sort of reaction from the players, right?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. I mean, they're going to be under a lot of pressure. The mood has turned quite sour over the last few days. So you need
Cannot
a
understand
response.
why, right?
Look, we should say. I mean, it was encouraging, the second half reaction. That
Yeah.
did show that there is some fire in the bellies of these players. There is some grit there, some determination, some will to win. It's not like it was limp from start to finish yesterday. They were awful in the first half, but they did manage to massively improved second half and did well with 10 men as well. So there is some, crumbs of comfort to take there. But they need to take that spirit of that second half into a 90-minute performance. That's what's really needed every single match, to be honest, rather than just when you're desperately needing it.
Yes, I agree, but let's remember that we weren't facing Manchester United, but Udinese. So yeah, that was expected. I mean, from the start, not from when you're 3-1 down. Anyway, thank you again, Alistair, for joining me. If you need, I can send you the text of Vola Lazio Vola, so next time you are prepared. And well, thanks everybody for listening. Remember, you can find us on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, wherever you listen to our podcast. Please subscribe wherever you find us. And if you want to support us, patreon.com/Lazio Lounge. Membership starts $2 a month. Thank you again, Alistair. Thanks everybody for listening. We're going to come back after Sampdoria Lazio. Ciao.